Oh, hello everyone, Ito here and welcome back to another week of this Minecraft series. And as you can see, we are here starting on our ship because we are going to gear with this jetpack into the brain of our project. So let's buckle up for a project full of redstone and nerding and super complicated. So have fun. Fly me to the moon and let me play with all my stats. Okay, so we are here inside of the vault and it's time to go for the brain. So buckle up because we are here and as you can see there is a lot of stuff happening. So we are going to go tackle this little by little and hopefully at the end of the episode it's going to make sense and you are going to understand what the hell is going on here. But before doing that, let me make you a friendly reminder, because over here we got our different dice rollers or barrel roller, how I call them, with different configurations. So of course we got the stacked minecarts, we got the different configurations for the numbers that we are going to use in different items, and of course these are 1d10s, so we got 10 items over there, and of course we got the 15 or 16 one, because this is 0, but this is the 15 signal. So when we press the button, we roll the different numbers here, we make the dice rolls, and eventually that's going to be important because I'm going to keep you here and follow me with the camera all the way up to the sky, and you are going to see that this is the line of the 1d16, so we can roll a number in between the 0 and the 15 with the brown wool. Then we are going to compare that with these two different dice scrollers. So one is going to be the arcane dice, the one that we just showed you with the powder over there, and the other one is going to be the god dice. And in the whole system, what's going to happen here is then we are going to do some math. So right now we press the button, you can see everything got reset. Every different single one roll a different number. So in this case we roll 5 in the challenge dice. We rolled, which is really low by the way, we roll a 5 on the god dice, and we roll a 4 on the arcane dice. And what that means is now we are ready to add more stats. So if we go all the way up here into the brain properly, we need to convert these random rolls into a player stat based system. So we go here into our player stat modifier. It's our first level. We are going to grab a signal from our player stats. So these are the stats that we got on the back. And over here, you know, they are just kind of a simple system that whenever lamp is light up, is the one that you look from the outside on the display, you are going to send a signal, which could be, in this case, it's a 3, a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 2, because they are the signs that came from the lectors. And that's the number that we are adding into this whole stat modifier. Then we add the better one in between the god dice and the arcane dice. In this case, it's a 5 because that one's a 4 and this one is a 5, so that's the bigger one. We add both of these, so in this case, the total is going to be 8. And with that, we got the total result of our roll. Always we are going to have one main stat plus the bigger in between these two dice. And we are going to check that against the challenge dice plus a couple more of modifiers, but as you can see there is a lot of redstone, so we are going to talk on that later. And regarding on the result, we are going to have different options. So the first one that we are going to have over here is going to be checking if, our player roll, which is the diamond in this case the 8th one, it's going to be higher or lower than the god or the challenge roll, which is this one. So in this case we got a 3, that means the lamp is on, that means this is a success, because again it's either success or failure. If this is on, that means we got a success. If this is off, we got a failure. Super simple and straightforward. And then we got also an override system, which is the double critical. If there is no kind of a one bigger than the other, that means that 4 is the same as these other dice here, which should be a 4 or both a 5. Both of them are going to be the same, are going to powering these pulse extender, and eventually the lamp is going to be on. That means something super good happened. And after that, we just need to check which one of these two is going to be the higher up. And it's super simple. We extract one from the other, and that's going to be the math. And if it's the arcane, the higher one, this is going to be the light up. If it's the gods, it's going to be the other side. And with that, we got kind of all the results that are going to be available for us. So all of the results are according to what we have over here on this book. So as you can see, we can have good or bad successes, and we can have successes and failures. So the good and bad are based if either you got arcane or god, so this is good and that side is bad, and if this is light on or off, if it's going to be success or failure. So this is the whole system in a little summary, but now we need to go into the challenge part, because that was what kind of was came about this whole week, and the whole appearance of the interference system, which is super complex but super cool. So rolling just one single piece of dice for the challenge is not going to be fun enough, so we need to spice this up. And in order for doing that, we are going to consider a difficulty into the challenge roll and also the interference. And that was kind of the project of the whole week. So we start simple with the difficulty in itself, and right now we are controlling that over here. This is a work in progress. And difficulty, essentially what it's going to do is we are going to read this signal strength from that one. We are going to send it in every single one of these different batches line, and you can see that all of them are powered up except for the one that we selected. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we go all the way up, for example, to 5, only the 5th one is going to be the one that goes off in this case, and all the other ones are going to be on. And what essentially that means is we are going to engage these different type of levels. So that is level 1. It should be level 1. Let me check. Yep. That is interference level 1, this whole array of stuff. Then we got level 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 over here. So right now we got selected level 5. And essentially what does that is disable these pistons that are putting over these blocks, essentially blocking the signal. So it's disabling everything else that is not working, because now we are on level 5. Actually, let's select, you know what, let's select level 3 because it's going to be easier to notice because of space and stuff. So we go on level 3 now. Level 3 got selected, as you can see here, and I needed to add repeaters and comparators just because of the delay, so it's a little bit messy like that, but it works, so it's fine. If we fly to the level 3, we first get the different signals for the arcane dice, because that was the only one that wasn't getting used already for the system, so it's kind of an extra randomizer that we add here. And then we got the options to roll for the first 3 values, that means the 0, the 1, and the 2, because remember that Y is 0, that's 1, that's 2, so if we roll any single one of them, we are going to send this signal. If we got the ones in the middle, we are going to send the second signal, which is the one that we are sending here right now. You can see that this is off, this is on, sending a power of 2 in this case. And if it's going to be the last 3 in this case, we are going to do the same, but on this other side. So we are going to subtract this and we are going to disable that. So if we go higher than, in this case, I would say the 6th level, so that means we go 7, 8, 9, which is the red, the magenta, and the purple, we are going to disable this and essentially enabling this guy. So that's how it works. It's just a 3-way randomizer, and then we send different type of difficulties corresponding to the level where we are in. So that means if we are on level 1, we can roll a +1, a +2, and a +3. In this case, we can roll a +2, a +3, and a +4. And since this one is in the middle, we are sending a +3 over here. Oh, it's actually a +4. Oh, back tank pressure low. So let me refill it, and I will be right back. And with my jetpack refilled, you can see that everything is working over here. I don't know why, in the last clip it didn't show as updated, but now it does, so that's good. And yeah, this difficulty selector is going to be important for the next part, which is the interference. So in summary, For the challenge part, we are accounting for the difficulty, which is just that value. It's going to be a value from 1 to 5. It's going to be an extra difficulty value, kind of pretty much measuring out to our stat system. And then we are going to measure out the challenge dice, which is going to be a huge roll number. And then we are going to increase the odds of this to being kind of a higher value or higher number in total by adding the interference. And interference is a small system that we got over there, but with little nuances. So the first of all is that this system is relied on this small memory cell. And to be honest, I don't exactly know how this works. I just know it works, but I still can't fully understand why it works like how it does. But I encountered that design over the internet. I think it was Mr. Craftyman. So we got a dropper full with items and another dropper which is totally empty. And the idea is we power this block or this dropper. Essentially, 2 ticks later is going to power the other dropper, and that means the items from here is going to go over here like so, and then it's going to go back. And when it goes back, this dropper keeps sending the same signal, but these signals increase on 1. Why this happened is the thing that I don't understand. I had tried to understand it and I just can't, so I gave up. But it works, and that's the good thing. And then we count this value, which is going to be our kind of a dropper power counter, and this essentially means which is our bar here, our chance for that to engage. So whenever we increase this bar, this power signal is going to increase. Whenever we decrease the bar, this signal is going to decrease. It's essentially pretty straightforward like that. I just don't exactly understand how this part works, but it works, so it's magic. We move on. So for the engage on this side, on how this is going to increase, is actually a system that we had divided over this part. So, I mean, it's not that one, it's this one. So whenever we gain coins for the system, you can see that that is the signage for the coins. And the coin, let me remember you, is the system that we are going to have on the outside here, which is going to be kind of our power up pretty much. So whenever this goes up, this whole system is going to increase in power level. And whenever the system increases in a level, it's going to send 1 pulse, so it's going to activate only once, and then it's going to increase our counter once, and this is just for the extra delay that we need. It's going to be all the way up to 10 times, because 10 is the max coins that we want for the system. And whenever it went down, it's whenever we press the button, after a little bit of a delay, it's going to kind of reset the signal again, and force that we are going to remove 1 pulse over here. Why is that important? Because whenever we want to check over we press of the button or not, we are going to have an option. If the system engage, that means if you get kind of a penalty for the interference on the god, that means you got higher chances of failing your roll. What is going to happen is that chance is going to go lower down. And whenever you gain coins again, the system is going to be engaged and it's going to be harder. That means more chances for these to interact. And if then the system kind of doesn't happen, it stays the same. And that's essentially what we do here, that whenever the system is kind of engaged, we send another signal again, and that's how we keep everything working. So essentially what we are doing is now having a chance system that is loaded via coins, but then it's kind of unloaded whenever the system works by itself. So the more kind of coins that you are going to gain, the more chances you get to get the penalty. And then the penalty is going to keep over and over and over until eventually it's got totally drained out. You get all the different penalties, and that's how the system is going to be way more challenging. It's going to be a system that you can't trick because you actually don't know unless you go here inside of the brain. And the idea is to add a little bit of an extra oomph into the challenge rolls, making everything a little bit more unpredictable. So we spent the whole week working on this whole mess, and it worked, and it's super cool. And by the way, we also measure out how we are going to drain the droppers by doing this. So whenever this goes up in terms of the signal level, we are going to send a signal. So we are going to update that line of lamps. It's the same idea that we did for the coins. but when it goes down, we need to revert the signal and then we update for the previous layer. So this is how it works on the backside. And this system, which is kind of a super complicated red coder, I just realized that with create mode it's way easier. So if you're interested into that, check for that Google or on YouTube, and you are going to see that with create mode it's way more simpler and cooler. So yeah, sadly I didn't knew this with my old design, so I made a big mess. But that has been our whole week. A lot of more redstone, a lot of nerding. The brain is coming together. I think it's looking also super cool with everything happening here. For the next week, we got the challenge now to add the quest system, everything that is going to be here about the displays, and also hooking up the difficulty, and then we need to toggle that out for the displays on the player side, so you kind of can tell at a simple glance which result you get into your role. But we still don't know how we are going to do that. So if you're interested with ideas or messing around, feel free to drop by on my Twitch, and we see you there, streaming today actually and the whole week. So bye bye.